You want to fight, bro?
Yeah, the Fight Bros podcast.
Let me just start it out.
Yeah,
All
the
right.
3, 2, 1.
What's up, Fight Bros podcast listeners? We're here with the Fight Bros podcast number 10. Dude, I can't believe this is the 10th podcast, man.
I know that's what I was telling Hannah this morning. 10
Yeah.
episodes in.
Dude, it just felt like it's went by so quick.
Yeah, 10 weeks straight.
Oh, yeah.
Every Sunday for 10 weeks we've been doing this.
But
It's been a blast.
This 10th one's coming to you on October 13th, 2019.
Yep.
We're just moving right along, man.
It's going great, and I love the pumpkin.
Oh, yeah.
If a lot of you didn't see it, then get on Marcus's Instagram. It's he's got a pumpkin painted with the Fight Bros podcast.
Yep, I tried my best. But as always, I'm Marcus Burks, and this is
Yeah. Oh,
Albert Walton. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. All right. Well, let's hop right in, man. So last night was Fight Night 161. My girl Joanna Jacek fought. I was, excited as always to see her win. She fought Michelle Watterson. What are some of the highlights from that?
So, I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I was dozing off during this one.
Yeah, we had a hard day yesterday.
Yeah, but this main event's the only one I dozed off for. But I caught a lot of the fight for the parts that I wasn't dozed off with. But Joanna Jacek won by unanimous decision against Michelle Watterson, that's what I predicted. I mean, I've always said there's levels to the UFC, and Michelle Watterson is a very good martial artist, but Joanna Jacek is on a different level. Joanna Jacek, I mean, completely outstruck her.
Yeah.
Last night,
about 20 hits every round.
15 to 20
15 to
strikes
20,
every round.
yeah.
She outstruck Michelle Watterson. Michelle Watterson had Joanna Jacek in 2 different submissions during the fight, but Jacek you never could see in her face that she felt like she was in any type of trouble.
Well, it's Joanna Jacek, man. She's the top.
Oh, I know.
So-
And yeah, what was cool after the fight was Joanna Jacek. She said Willie Zhang, or I think that's how you pronounce it.
Why? It's something like that.
Yeah, she said Willie Zhang. She said bow down to the strawweight queen. So I mean, that's what's next.
Yeah.
What do you think? How do you think that fight would go?
Well, dude, I'm not on a bandwagon with Joanna. That's my girl, so I'm always
Yeah.
gonna root for her. I don't care who she fights. She's gonna be the one who I'm rooting for. So I mean, she could fight one of my favorite guys.
Yeah,
I'm still gonna root for Joanna. So I don't know what it is. She's always been one of my favorite fighters.
So Joanna Jacek, she's my second favorite women's fighter in all of MMA.
Who's your first?
Yeah, Cyborg.
Cyborg.
Yeah.
I figure. Yeah. I don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
That's respectable.
So last night made me respect a lot more of the striking accuracy that Joanna Jacek has. That's definitely a skill that she possesses, and I felt she put it on full blast last night.
Oh yeah.
She might not provide the power that you would like, but she is very accurate at striking. I mean, if you think about it, she outstruck Jessica Andrade, which was the knockout artist of that 115-pound women's division. The fight with Willie Zhang, dude, that's a tough one. I'm gonna always
Zhang is a respectable, very good fighter.
Yeah.
So I mean, it is a tough fight. But as always, I can see that Joanna being the victor of that.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, Young Jacek's one of my favorites. I'm always going to root for her. I'm always going to pick her. But I could see how Willie Zhang would provide some trouble. I mean, Jessica Andrade brutally slammed and knocked out Rose Namajunas. These names are hard to pronounce, man. But she knocked out Thug Rose, and then she comes out and makes her title offense against Willie Zhang. I mean, Jessica Andrade has just been knocking out people up to this point. And I mean, what'd she last against Zhang? 50 seconds? So, I mean, Zhang is a very powerful striker that just cruised by Jessica Andrade, which is a very dangerous strawweight.
Yeah.
But then if we think about it again, Joanna Jacek, she handled Jessica Andrade pretty easily back in the day. They haven't fought in a while, but back in the day, she handled Jessica Andrade
Yeah.
pretty easy. So I'm excited to see this Willie Zhang fight, and I hope Dana makes it happen. Uh, early in the next year. I hope that I don't think they need to do any other fight with Zhang. I think this is the fight that needs to be made.
Yeah. Well, I'm rooting for her. So what else happened last night? Working our way down the ladder.
So co-main event, we got Cub Swanson versus Kron Gracie. There was a lot of people that had their eyes on Kron Gracie last night. I think he was 5-0 at this point. He's obviously the son of the Gracie legacy. Yeah. And, the Gracies are pretty much the founders of mixed martial arts, a very highly respected family within the business. But Swanson just made it look easy last night, man. I mean, I don't know what the game plan was with Kron Gracie. I think Cub Swanson.
His record's now 5-1.
Yeah.
Kron Gracie.
And Swanson beat him by unanimous decision last night.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Kron Gracie, I mean, he didn't really go for a takedown, which, I mean, jiu-jitsu's a little bit different than wrestling. So, I mean, when I was watching it, I was sitting there like, dang, why don't you go for a double leg or single leg? But I'm like, well, that's not what jiu-jitsu is.
Yeah.
So he's not going to go for takedowns like that. So I kept expecting him to, provide some type of grappling, but he just kept trying to strike with him.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that. But you know what I think it is they said that he's been training with the Diaz brothers for a while. So I think he kind of got that ego in him last night that, like, I've been training with some of the best strikers in UFC history. I'm training under Rob Perez, which is Nate Diaz's boxing coach. I just think he thought, very highly of his boxing skills last night. So he just thought he was going to stand up with Cub Swanson, which is already a respected stand-up fighter in this division. And it just didn't go his way. I felt like that wasn't the game plan for Kron Gracie.
No. Well, when these fight camps, they're tailored to who you're fighting, and they're tailored to your fighting skills. So if you're fighting a wrestler, they're going to tweak the way you fight a little bit to better protect yourself against that wrestler. And so that's kind of the game plan is going into fights like this. And then you have people who don't do that, like DC. When DC just fought Stipe, he lost. But it also appeared that he was not going based off of how he was trained. That wasn't the fight plan. And he lost. I was happy because we made a bet. But, I was also sad to see DC lose. That's one of those fights where you don't want to see either guy lose.
And I totally agree with that. That's the same way I feel. I feel like, we see a lot of fighters nowadays, they go away from their game plan and they get into a striking fest with people that they shouldn't be. I mean, like, I'm not one of those fans that just want to see you stand up and just see blood the whole time. Like, I like to see people showcase their skills. So if you're a wrestler facing a striker and you hold them on the ground the whole night, to me, in my eyes, you went out there and did your job and won.
That's how you were a fighter.
Yeah.
So, and this is mixed martial arts. This isn't a kickboxing bout. This isn't a boxing fight. This is mixed martial arts. And so if your martial art is wrestling or your martial art is jiu-jitsu, you go out there and you're going to mix these martial arts and see who comes out on top.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what the name of the game is, literally.
For real.
So, congrats, Cub Swanson, Kron Gracie. We're, not disappointed, but you always expect a good name from the Gracie, but 5-1. That's not that bad for this point.
Oh, I know. Yeah, he's still got a longer career ahead of him. He's only 31 years old, so
only 31. Oof.
Well, he started mixed martial arts pretty late.
Oh,
so
okay.
what I heard last night, and I found this interesting, is he originally wasn't going to fight. He originally was just doing jiu-jitsu. He was just doing jiu-jitsu matches and competing in competitions. But then the Diaz brothers brought him into their camp. And he had been in the Diaz brothers camp, providing them jiu-jitsu partners and stuff for, 5-6 years. And then he just picked up that this was something he wanted to do. And I guess the Diaz brothers kind of told him, like, man, you can compete at this level. And, I think this is something you could pursue. So, I mean, he had just been training with those brothers for a long time. So 31 to him, he's just getting into it. He's done jiu-jitsu all his life. So he just now started getting punched in the face 30, 31 years old. So I think he could have a long career.
Okay, because he's not been wearing his body down.
Yeah, so Daniel Cormier, he's still fighting at 40, 41 years old right now.
Yeah.
He didn't get into mixed martial arts until, I don't think he had his first professional fight until he was 30 years old. So you got to think that's different. Let's just use an example. Me, like I've been playing basketball since kindergarten or whatever. So if I sit there and skilled trained basketball all my life, when I get to 30, I'm going to have those knee problems and stuff. I'm going to face problems because I've been repeatedly doing that for all these years. But once you get that late start at stuff, like DC, like Kron Gracie, I think you can, have a longer career.
Yeah, but the argument against that with Kron Gracie is he's kind of been doing that. He's kind of been the punching bag for the Diaz brothers. For the last 5
Well, I think he's
years.
just been doing jiu-jitsu with them.
Yeah.
Like just grappling with their gis on and stuff. I don't think he's been like doing the I just think he's been in there with the gi. I don't think they actually spar or nothing.
Okay.
Yeah. They probably have now.
Yeah, now I would hope so by now.
Yeah.
5 fights in the year.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure. But I'm sure we'll see a long career for him and pretty successful career in the UFC.
Oh yeah. Let's jump into this next one that was interesting, and it got this man Nico Price performance of the night. Dude, what a knockout. I mean, this is James Vick's.
It was you could not look at the position they were in and expect that kind of a knockout.
Oh, I know. This was James Vick's welterweight debut. I mean, he's a 6'3" fighter that was fighting light. He was fighting at 155, being 6'3". Could you imagine that weight cut he was going through? So I expected so much more of him at welterweight. And dude, he was doing good at the first of the fight. He held his hands down. He was taking some shots, but I think he hit Nico Price and he got on top of Nico Price and he was ground and pounding pretty well for a minute. It felt like he was controlling the fight. And then Nico Price just hits him with this crazy kick from the bottom. I mean, dude, what a knockout. And
I mean, Vick was out cold.
If you didn't watch that fight, listeners, you wanna go back and watch that highlight. Yeah. I mean, that's probably gonna be one of the best knockouts in UFC history. I mean, probably if they ever did a show where it was like 25 best knockouts, it's gonna be on that list.
You think so?
Yeah.
Maybe 25 of like welterweight. I don't think it could be 25 of all time. Like, it was a good knockout. Unexpected. I don't know if it would be. I mean, just like with all the knockouts we've seen in the UFC, like kick off the cage, Superman punch, 5-second knee to the head, Askren, and all these insane knockouts that we've seen, like insane back elbows. I don't know if I could see this being top 25 overall.
I just respect it.
But top 25 welterweight.
Where he did it from the bottom.
Yeah, I can too. Like, that's insane. And it was like a back kick, straight to the head. Looked like an axe splitting his head open. It was insane.
We usually don't see people do that kind of damage on the bottom. The last time I saw somebody do damage like that on the bottom was when Tony Ferguson was just cutting up Kevin Lee from the bottom with vicious elbows.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just to see somebody do that kind of damage from the bottom, that's crazy, and I respect that. And that's why I put it on that top 25 list. But I don't know.
I can respect the difficult. I see where it could be. But I definitely think it would be top 10 of like maybe welterweight.
Yeah.
I don't know about top 25 of all time.
So let's break down what's next for James Vick. I mean, this is a 4-fight losing streak. The last 3 losses that he has had have came with vicious knockouts where he's been unconscious. The last 3 fights, he has not been able to stand beside the ref to get the other victor's hand raised because he's been viciously knocked out. This is very surprising because James Vick, when he first came to the UFC in lightweight 155 division, he went 9-1. He started out the UFC 9-1. In his last 4 fights, he has went 0-4. I mean, this sport is a very unforgiving sport. You have to keep polishing your game.
Yeah.
I believe he should be released from the UFC. I believe that's what's best.
Yeah.
the last. I mean,
How old is he?
He's in his 30s, 31 or 32.
Okay, low 30.
But just the way he's gotten knocked out in his last 3 fights, getting put unconscious, I don't believe the UFC needs to take any more chances on him. If he wants to pursue other companies, I think the UFC should let him do that. But I think he should be released from his UFC contract.
See, I think if he has like one more fight and he still isn't getting out on top, maybe that is time, because you don't want to see somebody like BJ Penn. You don't want to see him get in the ring and get knocked out 8 or 9 times in a row, because it's not fun at that point. It's not fun for the fans. It's not fun for the fighters. It's not fun for either fighter, even if you're winning. You're like, I want it. Most people who are true champions want a challenge.
Oh yeah.
So if James Vick, just his body isn't keeping up, or he's for some reason not able to continue to be a good fighter, then I agree. I think it should be time to let him go.
See, I don't know if you remember this, but do you remember when James Vick fought Justin Gaethje? And James Vick, this is how James Vick kind of got famous within the UFC fans, because at the press conference, James Vick was telling Justin Gaethje, he said, "You're just nothing but punch drunk." He was like, You're the Homer Simpson of the UFC," because you remember that episode of The Simpsons where Homer Simpson got knocked out by Mike Tyson. He might have ended up Homer Simpson might have came back and knocked out Mike Tyson, but whatever, Homer Simpson just kept taking shots to the head. So he was pretty much just saying, "You're punch drunk," like Homer Simpson was in that episode or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he comes out there and gets viciously knocked out by Justin Gaethje. I mean, that's how he kind of got his headlines within the UFC that got his popularity. But I just think 4 losses in a row. I don't care if you lose 4 in a row, but the way he's lost the last 3, I think they just got to let him go.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. So maybe this is the end of the line for Vic. So, well, what getting on with the rest of last night's fight. What were your thoughts on Matt Frolan and Louis Pena?
I believe this is like the 3rd robbery we've seen in the past couple of fights. Luis Pena, like I said, he, like the Romero fight, like the Mike Perry fight we talked about a couple of weeks ago, Luis Pena outstruck Matt Favola.
Now,
he outstruck him the whole entire fight. Luis Pena had him in more damage. If you look after the fight,
who had control over the fight?
Luis Pena. Matt Favola had control that first 3 minutes of the first round.
Okay.
And then, so after the fight it was split decision. The win went to Matt Favola. Luis Pena wasn't having none of that. He walked right out of the arena. Luis Pena then put on Twitter, he was like, "Look, guys," he was like, "look at my face. I don't have any damage at all." He was like, "Do you see all this blood over my shorts? That is his blood." He was like, "This is what happens when you fight your opponent in their own home state." Matt Favola was a native of Florida, and this is where the fight was. I didn't agree with the judge's decision. Luis Pena is one of my favorites in that division. Just because, like I was
because
talking,
of his name,
Violent Bob Ross, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
what a name! And he's training with my boy DC at AKA.
Well, to the listeners out there, you all need to look up Luis Pena. He looks exactly like Bob Ross's twin brother, and that's why they call him the Violent Bob Ross.
Yeah, and he's definitely. This is just his 3rd fight in the UFC. He's 2-1. And dude, he's training with the best over there at AKA. He's training with Khabib. He's training with DC. I mean, Khabib's cousins that are moving up their rankings in the lightweight division. Luis Pena's definitely got a bright future ahead of him, and I'm excited to see him fight in the future.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. So wrapping that up, well, let's hear about how do you say Ponzinibbio?
Yeah, Ponzinibbio.
Okay, what's the issue going on with him right now?
So as of yesterday, Ponzinibbio is out of his fight with Robbie Lawler at UFC 245. Dude, this sucks because what a card this was. I mean, it's still a great card. We have 3 title fights on there. We have Colby versus Usman.
Yeah.
Amanda versus I forgot who she's facing, but Amanda Nunes is on it too. And we have Max Holloway versus Vonikowski.
Yeah.
So we have 3 title fights, but this was going to be one of those great fights on that main card with it. Ponzinibbio is out.
Why is he out? Oh,
with a staph infection. Which is what I don't necessarily understand, because this is December 14th. So most fighters go through...
Yeah, two months away from tomorrow.
So most fighters go through like a, 4 or 6 week camp?
Mm-hmm.
I've had staph before. Obviously, I'm not a UFC fighter, but I think I took antibiotics for like 2 weeks or so. And I know the antibiotics are a thing that you don't want to take while you're training because they drain you.
Yeah.
But I don't understand why he couldn't, take a break.
Yeah,
and take
2
the
weeks off from
antibiotics,
training.
and then you still have a 4 to 6 week fight camp
Yeah.
ahead of you. So I don't understand. And we seen Kevin Lee almost finish Tony Ferguson. What was it, last year or 2 years ago?
And he had staph right there on his chest.
right there on his chest. So I just don't understand. Ponzinibbio's situation. Ponzinibbio is what, number 7 ranked welterweight. Robbie Lawler is number 13th.
Yeah.
You feel like you have something to prove. Ponzinibbio wants a title shot. I remember when Woodley was champion, Ponzinibbio kept going at Woodley, and I was sitting there like, what have you done? And then you actually have a chance to do something right here. And I mean, I don't know how bad the staph is. Obviously, staph is a very serious, thing
Infection.
because it can turn into MRSA.
Yeah.
But so he's out. That's the fact that he's out.
In my mind, it's good that he pulled out now.
Mm-hmm.
So whoever
we got
fights
time.
Robbie Lawler could still do a full camp.
Yeah.
Because if Ponzinibbio would have said, hey, this could turn into MRSA, but I'm going to continue to train for the next month and then back out if it gets worse, then the next fighter would only have 4 weeks to train if they started training immediately, depending on when Ponzinibbio
I'm hoping they announce within this next week who will be fighting him.
Okay, so there's a lot of people who could be fighting Lawler. Who would you like to see him fight?
So to me, there's 3 names that could fight him, and I think... Or that's going to be fighting Robbie Lawler.
Yeah, 3 people who could be fighting Robbie Lawler.
Yeah, so
who are those 3
There's 3
people?
names that stand out to me that could be fighting him, and I'm going to break down every single name and explain why it makes sense or why it doesn't make sense. I'm kind of 50-50 with some of them, why it does and doesn't. I think all of them I'm like that, really.
Yeah.
But so first, Mike Perry last night, he's a native of Florida, so he got on there. They was interviewing him backstage, and he said he wants Robbie Lawler.
Why does he want him so bad?
Well, Mike Perry called out Robbie Lawler, I think, maybe 4 or 5 fights ago. I mean, obviously,
That's kind of a while back.
It's tough to call out somebody who's in the top 10 when you're not in the top 15. So at that point, Mike Perry wasn't in the top 15. I believe he is now.
Yeah.
Even though he's dropped the last 3 fights in a row. He's a big name, and he puts on a show. And, I mean, that's what the UFC wants.
Yeah.
So, to me, I like this fight. I think Mike Perry versus Robbie Lawler is a very fun fight because Robbie Lawler is, ranked number 13th? Yeah, he's ranked number 13th. We just looked at it. Yeah.
Wow.
So, that's crazy that he's ranked number 13th when he just fought Colby Covington, who was fighting for a title. I mean, that fight was terrible. I don't know what kind of Robbie Lawler showed up to that fight. But so I think this makes sense, and I think it's a fun fight for the fans.
Perry, I don't know. I'm not feeling that one. Not Perry versus Lawler.
Even the way that Lawler fought last time. I mean,
see, I've got a better idea for that though. For who I think Lawler should fight. Like, is Perry your first choice? Or who you think
out of
Lawler
the 3 we were going to discuss, I think Perry makes the most sense.
Okay, well, see, for me, I think it's Woodley who makes the most sense because both of them are very skilled fighters, but both of them also had bad last fights. And so right now it's put up or shut up. If Robbie Lawler comes out and destroys Woodley, maybe that's it for Woodley.
But this would be their... they fought before, right?
Yeah.
And Woodley starched him.
But that was back then.
Yeah.
That was back then. Both of them just had a pretty terrible last fight. So, if they fight and, Woodley destroys Lawler, then maybe that's it for Lawler. Not like it completely, but that just kind of shows where they're at now, because everybody has bad days, everybody has bad fights.
Yeah.
So this just shows which one of them had a bad fight and which one of them just is a bad fighter now.
So
I think Woodley makes the most sense.
I wouldn't be like so disappointed if they made that fight, because like I was talking to you about before the podcast, this fight was supposed to happen in late June anyways.
Yeah, exactly. And that's another reason why I think it makes sense.
Yeah, but then again, I look at it and I'm like, Tyron Woodley is the number 1 contender of the world. Robbie Lawler is number 13th. If Woodley loses, I think this is a big risk for him. I don't think he would lose against Robbie Lawler. I just don't think Robbie Lawler. I don't know what he's been doing the last couple of fights, but it's not that same Robbie Lawler, that killer that we used to see, a while ago.
Yeah, well, as far as Woodley goes, I know he's technically number 1 contender, but I don't think he's going to get a title shot without
beating somebody. And I understand that too.
Yeah. So I think this is a good fight for him because we see how aggressive Lawler can be.
Mm-hmm.
So if Woodley shows he can beat that, then I think he deserves that title shot against either Covington or Usman, whoever wins.
And then another man that could step in and that doesn't have a fight that could face Ponzinibbio is Leon Edwards.
Why do you think he's got a potential to fight?
This fight would make sense because they both act like they deserve a title shot. They both haven't fought anybody in that top 3, top 5 and beat them. So Ponzinibbio is number 7. Leon Edwards is number 4. Maybe we do this fight and then whoever wins gets a title shot. Yeah. I mean, that would totally be passing over Tyron Woodley.
Well, I was going to say, maybe that's what they will do. Maybe they'll say, okay, Lawler, you can either fight Mike Perry.
Oh, I'm talking about, I got it confused. So I said Leon Edwards was filling in.
You were talking about Leon Edwards.
Yeah, so Leon Edwards versus, okay.
Well, no. I know, yeah, you were talking about Leon Edwards, but I was going to say, maybe the UFC is going to do that, is make Lawler fight either Mike Perry or Leon Edwards. That's what I was about to say. And see whoever beats the other one then goes through Woodley to get to the top. Yeah. And then if Woodley beats the winner, maybe that's what they will do. If the UFC says, okay, Lawler, you can either fight Perry or Edwards. And whoever wins out of that fight faces Woodley just to kind of use him as the gate to get to the winning, to the winner of Usman and Covington.
Yeah.
And then there you go. And then if they can't get through Woodley, then boom, Woodley deserves that title shot. So maybe they won't get Lawler to fight Woodley right now. Maybe they'll just get Lawler to fight one of the other 2 guys, and the winner fights Woodley. It kind of makes sense when you put it that way.
Yeah, I think that would make more sense.
Yeah.
But hopefully they'll make an announcement in the next week or 2 get Robbie Lawler somebody to fight.
Yeah.
I mean, he was already supposed to fight in June. He said he wanted to wait for Tyron Woodley. Tyron Woodley didn't want to wait for him. So hopefully we can get a fight because, I mean.
Yeah. Well, if so, we'll hopefully find out in the next week or 2.
Yeah.
So let's move on to this next topic that kind of gets under my skin a little bit. So we're kind of talking about the WWE because we see a lot of crossover happening right now between the UFC and professional boxing into WWE. Now,
our guest next week's a WWE fan, so he'll probably have some good interesting takes on this.
I forgot who that was next week.
Jacob.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So and my thing is, it's not that I'm against them going into the WWE, because I get it. That's kind of what you do when you can't keep up in the sport anymore, or when you're just kind of, you've done it for so long, you're done. You can go to WWE. I get that. But it's kind of when you see them crossing back over and you kind of question the validity of
Kane's not going back.
He
officially gave his retirement letters to Dana. Dana gave his approval to Velasquez. All the paperwork's done. He's out of the USADA testing pool, so it's official. Cain Velasquez is just WWE bound right now.
Okay. So what we were talking about is on October 31st, we see Cain Velasquez fighting Brock Lesnar in the WWE.
Oh, this is awesome.
Why is that awesome? I mean, I know you like WWE.
Because we're
like,
talking October 31st, WWE. I think it's in Saudi Arabia.
But what about Cheryl's house?
Huh?
Dude, that's been like, it's been a...
Yeah, I mean, I'll still go there.
A tradition.
Yeah, well, this is in the morning because it's in Saudi Arabia. So
No
this
way.
pay-per-view, this pay-per-view happens like midday Friday, which I normally have Fridays
it's
off.
on Friday? October 31st ain't on a Friday.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's on like a Thursday.
Oh, is it on a Thursday?
Yeah, it's either Wednesday, because November 2nd is a Saturday.
Let's see, October 31st is on a Thursday, yeah. So the pay-per-view will probably be in the middle of the day or something. Hopefully I can catch it.
They're not going to get no views here in America.
Well,
people got to work. They got to go.
The exciting thing about this, too, is it's not just Brock Lesnar versus Cain Velasquez. It is the ESPN heavyweight boxing champ, Tyson the Gypsy King Fury, is facing Braun Strowman in a match.
On the same pay-per-view, the same night.
So, of what I've heard with this is ESPN is letting Tyson Fury cross over to WWE just for a one-and-done match to promote his upcoming fight in 2020 with Deontay Wilder.
Yeah.
So I understand that. I think it's great for business. I think you should want to, as a business, you should. And boxing isn't interesting no more. The people that's been making it interesting is Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua. The heavyweight boxing is back, and it's interesting because of those three. And trying to think the new champ. There's a new heavyweight boxing champ for like WBC. I can't think of his name right now. But he's made it exciting too. So this is the most exciting boxing's been in a while.
Yeah. But now they're leeching over into WWE.
Which it makes sense because they're wanting to advertise to get those WWE fans. They're like, oh, look, this guy fights for real. So, obviously you like fake fighting. So we know you're going to like real fighting. So come over here and watch this and be like me. I watch all of them. I love all of them.
Some people don't like the real fighting. Some people who watch WWE are like, no, I want to see you get hit in the head with a chair and a 2x4. I don't care about you getting hit with a fist or a flying knee. Like, they don't want to see that. They want to see, like, jumping off ladders and stuff like that.
Yeah, Jeff Hardy.
Then you have some... Oh, dude, did you hear he just got another DUI?
Yeah, I hate that.
Dude, he's off the chain, man. Life has rode him hard. So, oh, geez. He looks awful, man. So, but that's the thing, man. Some people, like, you're one of those people who like the crossover. Some people... They just want to see that extreme.
Well, I know
fake fighting.
I'm not gonna have the same perception as everybody because, I mean, I watch WWE. I love WWE. I watch UFC. I don't buy boxing pay-per-views, but I keep up with heavyweight boxing.
Mm-hmm.
So I enjoy all three of those things, and but I know a lot of people they're like, oh, WWE's so fake.
Well, I mean, my thing is about those people is like, okay. If you watch WWE, you know it's fake. If you want to watch it, who gives a crap?
Yeah.
If that person who's telling you WWE is fake and they like movies, say, guess what? That movie's fake. They're still going to watch that movie.
It's still real to me, man.
Don't say that. You look so stupid. It's like, Santa Claus is real to me. Oh, man, I hope we don't have kids watching this. But that's just the thing is like, I would not put it that way. But if it's something you still like, then screw everyone else. And that goes for life, people. Screw everyone who does not like what you do. So unless you're doing like self-harm or harm others or something stupid, then don't do that.
Yeah, I was just always that little kid, man. I legit thought it was real.
You thought WWE was real to like middle school or something like that, and then you thought Santa Claus was real for that. I think it all happened around the same time.
6th grade or something.
Yeah, you were like, man, I'm just now finding out the Tooth Fairy ain't real. Santa Claus ain't real. WWE ain't real.
Hang in there as long as you can, kids. I hung in there till middle school.
Then people make fun of you.
Yeah, believe all you can, man. Believe in Bigfoot and Santa Claus and WWE's real and the Loch Ness Monster, aliens. Just believe in it all.
Dude, aliens are real.
I
though.
know.
Aliens are, in my mind, they are real. Like, we're gonna, there are aliens out there.
Oh, I believe it.
Oh,
I
no,
think
no,
there
no.
are too. I think Bigfoot and aliens, both of those things are definitely real.
Yeah. Now the Loch Ness Monster, I don't know. Dude, I used to dream that the Loch Ness Monster was real. I used to think and be like, I want that thing to be real. And then you had people who took underground LiDAR of like the entire lagoon where they thought he was, and then go into then they would find caves and then go into all these caves and take underwater LiDAR of that too. Nothing.
Yeah.
They saw some fishies, but that's it. No Loch Ness Monster. And that broke my heart because I was like, man, we could have a for real dinosaur living today. But nah, as people...
No, we do. Crocodiles.
Oh my gosh. Shut up. You know what I mean. If we found a T-Rex, nobody'd be like, oh, it's just a T-Rex. People would be like, it's a T-Rex. You'd have people freaking out. You'd have people excited. Then you'd have humans who'd want to go kill it and be like, let's do tests on it. No, man, we can't kill that thing. So, but same thing with the Loch Ness Monster. You can't kill it. But people would want to
See,
kill
dude,
it.
I wish there was like some like Bigfoot enthusiasts or alien like guys. Like, have you listened to Rogan's podcast sometimes? Where,
I've listened to some of. Then he had Bob
Lazar, yeah.
Bob
I would be
Lazar.
interested in getting like people like them, but obviously on a smaller stage because our podcast isn't like theirs. But like getting them on here and maybe doing like
a special show.
maybe doing some special shows that aren't MMA and catering to just that
idea.
person,
Yeah.
and coming on here and talking about that. Like,
I think that would be fun. I know we are an MMA podcast, but we see Rogan do it because he's not an MMA podcast. He just has regular people, but then every now and again he has a special MMA podcast. So I mean, I'm down for that because that would just be fun to kind of get these people's thoughts out there, because some of these people will say the most outlandish things.
Yeah.
And if you quote them on it later, they're like, no, I did not say that. And so if you have them on camera and we can make them look like some wizards and stuff, like, but I mean, I think that'd be fun.
But go watch that October 31st pay-per-view on Thursday.
Yeah,
I know you're working, but watch it at work.
Watch it
to all our listeners.
Watch it at work.
Watch it on your phone because you don't want to miss this, man.
Your boss, she might be a B word, and she might tell you no. You tell her, "Ho, I'm gonna watch what I want."
But let's get into our next topic. We got Fedor Emelianenko versus Rampage Jackson for the Bellator Japan card on December 29th.
Okay.
What do you think about this,
Okay,
man?
so my thoughts are, I don't know who in the world Fedor is.
He's arguably the greatest heavyweight ever that never fought in the UFC.
Well, if he's the GOAT, we need to see him cross over.
That's what I think. I think the UFC's the top brand, so if you want to be the GOAT, you have to win a title in the UFC.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you're fighting and there's chickens running around outside the ring, I don't know how credible that belt is.
Well, he ain't been doing that. He's been in one championship, and I think he fought the Strike Force,
but no,
Bellator now.
So as far as this goes, I love Rampage. I would love to see that fight. I'm not paying $60 twice for 2 pay-per-views.
Yeah, I don't know how much Bellator pay-per-views are, but I assume that UFC's going to have a pay-per-view around that time.
They do. Yeah, ain't that like 14th or something?
Yeah,
I don't know.
But I mean, would you rather go out to eat and get a nice meal or watch this fight?
What do you mean?
Like, let's say, I don't know, you could go to the Cheesecake Factory, spend $60 or watch this fight for $60.
I don't know, man. I don't love the Cheesecake Factory.
Well, whatever your favorite restaurant is, that's all I'm saying. It's like, I like the fight, but I'm not paying $60 for
I'm a penny pincher, man. I'd rather like save the money and cook at home, but...
Well, whatever you would want to do, that would be $60 other than watching this fight.
To the club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Uh, but I just feel
I
like
don't
this
know.
fight's
I would
happening.
rather just watch the one fight after it came out on YouTube.
Yeah, it's just oh yeah. I mean,
I don't love it that much.
that's what I'm gonna do, but I think it's just happening a little bit too late. Rampage of what I've
He's
seen.
old too.
Of what I've seen, and you can be old and still be elite, but of what I've seen of Rampage, he's not the same Rampage that was in the UFC.
No.
And Yoel Romero proves to all those people who try to say age, oh, you're old, you're too old to do this. No, Yoel Romero proves you wrong.
Well, he's also taking great care of his body.
Yeah.
So like you saw with Hannah's, Dangrad, like
Yeah.
if you take great care of your body, then you can do whatever. Like he's 83 and was like hauling stuff around yesterday.
Oh, I know,
So,
easy.
yeah, and I mean that's just the thing. Then you have other people who are like 68 who look rough, man.
Yeah.
They look like a dish rag that you've used for like 30 years. So, and that's only 68. And this dude, he's, physically, he's in great shape.
Yeah.
So, life has not done him bad, but he's taking great care of himself. So Romero's in those same shoes.
Oh yeah.
So that's kind of the difference. I don't know about other people. I mean, let's look at DC when he's over 50. He ain't gonna look that good.
Well, he might. I don't know. There's NFL linemen that like once they retire, they get ripped up and stuff because they're like, I don't have to be this big boulder anymore because I don't have people hitting me all the time.
Yeah.
Now I can be like ripped up with abs.
Dude, that's kind of...
And run, and I can get small again.
Yeah. I mean, not to get actually into politics, but that's kind of what happened with Obama because in office, he looked like crap after 8 years. I mean, America dogged him, and so he was gray-haired, stressed out. He had bags under his eyes. Like, he could have been selling purses with those things. He looked rough. And then after the office, he got out, stress-free, can go do life. Now he looks like a normal person.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how that is like when this rush of what your life is over, you can go do you again.
Yeah.
So DC might do that. I mean, he might just want to like stay chubby. That's cool. Yeah. Whatever makes you happy.
He's got
DC.
millions, so be happy.
Yeah,
man.
dude, be happy, man. Just go do you. Go do your Popeyes. Go do your KFC.
Yeah. Carl's Jr.
Dude, Hannah got mad at me. Because I went to Popeyes with the intention to try that chicken sandwich.
Yeah.
But they ran out.
Yeah, and they haven't brought it back yet. And now they want to say, like, oh, bring your own bun. Like, no, I'm not bringing my own bun.
Freak. Y'all ain't got bread? This is America. We should have food on demand.
I'm not bringing my own bun to get a chicken sandwich.
The only buns of mine are on my butt. And that's the only buns I'm bringing in there. So, yeah, dude, she thought she made that feel like it was the equivalent to cheating.
Oh.
She was like, because we were going to go try that together, see if it was better than the Chick-fil-A. But I didn't get that opportunity. So I told her, I said, fine, I won't cheat on you.
Hopefully we'll get that opportunity soon because I want to try it.
Yeah, dude. Luckily, I'm in Roanoke.
Well, see, I'm in Whitfield. There's a Popeyes right there.
Dude.
Yeah.
Popeyes in Whitfield is so good.
Yeah.
I love it, man. Okay. So enough talking about that incredible chicken. Let's as far as Rampage goes, not buying it, but I'm gonna root for him. If I find out he wins, it's cool. Like if you're walking on the street and you see $1, oh, that's cool. But if he loses, that's cool. I'm just not invested into it.
See, the only person I really try to watch their fights in Bellator, I'm still not paying for it, but if it's on TV, I will make myself watch it. Is Chael Sonnen. Do you remember him?
Not at all.
The American gangster Chael Sonnen. Well, he used to be in the UFC. He had Anderson Silva beat and got submitted in the last couple of seconds.
Ooh.
He was the only person that was going to beat Anderson Silva when he was on the top of his game. He dogged Anderson Silva for like 4 straight rounds and got submitted with like the last minute of that 5th round.
I can't even remember, man.
Well,
that seems so long ago.
It was before we started watching.
Oh, then that's why. Okay. Well, let's move on to Mayweather and Pacquiao. So they're fighting for a second time. I'm stoked for that. The only thing is, Mayweather wants a 3-round exhibition match, while Pacquiao, he wants a real fight. Now, my thing is, I think Mayweather's a little bitch. I
I think he's scared because
yeah, I do. I think he's being scared. I think he's on top, and he's like, I just want money, but I don't want to lose.
Well, see, that's what I don't like about it is, he used to brag and gloat and be like, I drink 2 liters of soda every day. I'm still out here training. I'm still out here beating y'all's best top fighters. I think he knows that Manny got close to beating him in that first fight, and I don't think he wants to do a 3-round exhibition because
if he loses, he doesn't want it to affect his record.
Well, yeah, that's why he wants to do the exhibition, but I think he knows in 3 rounds that he's going to be very highly skilled, not drained.
Yeah,
he
but
can
after
do
like
he can
5
do his
rounds,
do his little defensive thing for 3 rounds.
Yeah,
I don't want to see that, man. Like,
dude, nobody wants to see that.
I want to see Mayweather versus Pacquiao. There's not a whole lot left for Mayweather. There's the Pacquiao fight that people want to see, Yeah. There's the Pacquiao fight. Canelo's not coming back down to fight Mayweather. Canelo weighs too much now.
Yeah.
But there's the Pacquiao fight, and then there's a crossover to MMA.
Mm-hmm.
Or the Conor McGregor rematch in boxing. I think people would want to see that, where McGregor got so close. But, I mean, there's not a whole lot left to me that people would just be throwing money at them to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but I don't like this. I understand Pacquiao's frustration of not wanting to do a 3-round exhibition.
Yeah, he shouldn't. No, 12 round or nothing.
Yeah.
So, because then how can you call it? Okay, so
Pacquiao's still fighting top fighters. He just beat some top guy a couple of months ago. I forgot who it was.
Well, here's my thing is Mayweather wants to call this Mayweather and Pacquiao 2. If it's an exhibition match and it doesn't go on your record, it's not Mayweather and Pacquiao 2.
Well, I don't think he's calling it that.
Whoever's calling it that,
I called it
BS.
that.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, well, then it's not Mayweather and Pacquiao 2 if it's not going on the record.
Yeah.
So I think Mayweather's just scared, and if he's not going to fight 12 rounds, then no fight.
Yeah.
It's got to go on his record, but I just think he's afraid.
I completely agree with that.
So,
Well,
are you good?
Oh, no, you're good. Go ahead.
Okay, well, moving on to UFC on ESPN 6.
Let's talk about DJ first.
DJ?
Yeah.
Where is that?
At the bottom.
DJ?
So, Demetrius Johnson last night. Yeah.
I was like, who in the world is DJ?
Oh, yeah. So, Demetrius Johnson last night completed a feat that a lot of martial artists don't get to complete. So, he won last night in one championship.
Done this? I don't think so.
Other than Askren. So Askren doesn't have a UFC title, but Askren has won a championship in Bellator, one championship, and he's trying to in UFC.
Yeah.
But on to Demetrius Johnson again. Demetrius Johnson has just won a belt and one championship last night, and he defended the UFC title for like 10 straight fights in a row.
Yeah. So Demetrius Johnson has held a belt in 3 fight promotions.
2. Just UFC and one championship.
He's not done the 3rd yet?
No, he hasn't been in Bellator.
Oh, I thought you wrote that down.
Huh?
Oh.
No, I said that about...
Dude, my bearings are rocked.
No,
okay.
Askren has the chance to win in 3 different promotions, but...
Okay, so do you think Demetrius Johnson's just going to defend it one more time and then go on to Bellator?
No. He's in one championship to stay. One championship is a better division for what his division is. One championship, I think they're putting out better fighters for his division.
I know, but I thought his goal was to bounce around and try to get a belt from each.
No, that's Askren's goal.
I thought that was Demetrius Johnson's goal.
No, I said that's what people think. That's how some people judge the GOAT status. So some people say like, oh, such and such is the GOAT because he held a title in this promotion, and this promotion. Obviously, the UFC's got to be in one of those promotions for you to be considered GOAT.
I do agree with that.
So why we're talking about this topic is because Demetrius Johnson has a UFC championship. He defended it 10 times, and now he has one championship title. Is he the GOAT, or is he getting closer to that GOAT status?
Well, I think he is the GOAT already. I just think it would be crazy if he started bouncing around. He's already done the UFC. He's on one championship. Move on to Bellator. Move on to Pride. Move on. I mean, just move on to all of them.
Yeah.
Get a belt. Say you're the best. And then nobody can argue it.
I understand he's up there in the discussions, but I don't think I'm not going to call him the GOAT because He has unfinished business with Henry Cejudo. He lost, so he beat Cejudo the first time. Cejudo beat him the second time by unanimous decision, I think. It was either unanimous or split, but Henry won pretty good. He won that second fight pretty good. And, Henry's been dominating as of lately. And as I will always say, I know one of our guests came on here and said Bellator, they think that best fighters are in Bellator. They think they care more and stuff and they get paid more. To me, in my eyes, the UFC is the cream of the crop. That's the best fighters. The UFC has the most money. If you want to be the best, you can get paid the most in UFC regardless.
Yeah, but then some people don't care about money. They're like, the UFC's getting too showy. It's getting too much drama. Because they're not always giving a fighter the fight he deserves. They're giving the fighter the fight that's going to make the most money.
Well, you have to be a showman. UFC
and that's the downside to it. Is some people are like, I don't give a crap about that. I want to be the best fighter, because if you put show in the mix, then you have the argument of it's starting to look like the WWE.
I believe on your UFC resume, if you're applying to the UFC, it's going to state on there that one of the qualities you need to have is you need to be an entertainer.
You think they got to write a resume for this?
No, I'm just saying.
I was going to say, man, be like, my resume's on YouTube.
No, I'm just saying, how fighters have, they have this resume beside them that could be like an invisible resume. Like, oh, they beat such and such. They're so good at cutting promos and this and that. They bring in this many viewers, But, But, I mean, we can move on from that. I just wanted to kind of
do you think he's the GOAT?
I don't. I think the GOAT's going to get played out. I think if John Jones has a chance to do some things to be the GOAT,
I mean the GOAT of his weight class.
He's the GOAT of his weight class, but I'm talking about overall. I think we're going to
see. It's kind of hard to say who's the GOAT of all time.
I think we're going to see a GOAT of all time.
Because you can't fight people in different weight classes.
Yeah, you can.
Not like we couldn't see Mighty Mouse fight Jones.
Yeah, but John Jones, Mighty Mouse hasn't fought out of his weight class. John Jones has the chance to go up to heavyweight, beat Stipe, Israel Adesanya. I'm not saying he's the GOAT, but I'm saying he said that he would go up face John Jones and he would go up again and face Stipe. So Israel Adesanya, if he could become a three-class weight champion, he could have. So I think we're going to see this GOAT played out. John Jones could be the GOAT. He can move up to heavyweight. Who else? GSP could come back. He could beat Khabib. That would make him the GOAT, I believe. Khabib could beat GSP. Then Khabib could get some other fights, keep beating more people.
Yeah.
Maybe even move up to 170, win that belt. Then Khabib's the GOAT. I think we're going to see it played out who's the GOAT within the next 5 years or so.
Maybe. Because then what happens when someone comes out and beats the GOAT? And the GOAT is just doo-doo.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Then they ain't the GOAT.
That's why people have to go out when they're on top.
Yeah.
Like GSP did. But
well, that's kind of what Mayweather's doing, too. He's just kind of...
No, he's not going out. He's still talking. He still talks.
He's not going out, but he's like...
He still talks.
He makes it sound like he doesn't want to fight, and it goes on his record.
The way he talks, he's welcoming in these fights.
He's welcoming exhibition fights.
Yeah.
And that's what I don't like, is it's like, no, go fight a real fight. Put it on your record.
Yeah.
So, well, UFC on ESPN 6. We have several good fights.
Yeah, good one.
That's this Saturday?
Yep. And the main event is going to be Dominic Reyes versus Chris Weidman. This is Chris Weidman's light heavyweight debut. Both men think they can dethrone John Jones. I'm not saying this is a number one contender fight, but I think whoever wins this, it puts them one fight away. It puts them really close.
Yeah.
They're going to be that.
I think that's fair. One fight away.
Yeah. So whoever wins this, they're getting closer to title implications.
Who do you want to see come out on top? Reyes.
Dude, I'm not a big Chris Weidman fan, so
I gotta agree. I'm actually not either.
I'm not a big Dominic Reyes fan either, but I just think Chris Weidman I think he talks a good game, but I think when it comes down to it, he doesn't go out there and compete.
Yeah. Things might be different
because I didn't like how he handled that Romero loss when Romero hit him with that flying knee, and then he tried to act like accuse him of steroids and this and that, and then he's lost other fights, and I just feel like he doesn't. It's Sepp lost as well. And, So I'm gonna go with Dominic Reyes.
I'm right there with you, man.
I hope when Dominic Reyes wins, that somebody will come and beat him, because I don't want to see him get a title shot either.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to see none of these guys fight John Jones. Honestly,
you want to see some better fighters fight?
Yeah, I want to see the winner of Johnny Walker and Anderson fight.
Yeah.
John Jones, and if neither one of those two guys can beat him, maybe when Thiago Santos comes back, we can see that rematch, or John Jones needs to move up to heavyweight. I believe John Jones's hardest challenges are behind him.
Yeah. Well, you know who I'm excited to see on this card?
Who?
Is the Yair Rodriguez and Jeremy Stevens.
Oh, yeah.
So, well, in my mind, that's exciting because these people fought, 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
3 weeks ago? And it ended with an eye poke. And so they're 5 seconds? Was it only 5 seconds?
Yeah, it's 5 seconds.
Jeez, and they called the match over that. Mm-hmm. So they're fighting again just to have a real fight, but they hype that fight up.
Yeah, and there's a lot of bad blood now, because I don't know if you knew, but Yair Rodriguez, dude, he acted completely disrespectful after the fight. I mean, it was in Mexico City, remember?
Yeah.
So this was his hometown. I understand he wanted to put on a good fight. Michael Bisping went in the octagon to, interview Yair Rodriguez after, kind of get his thoughts. So Yair Rodriguez is just talking a bunch of crap to his, cornermen and stuff. And, Bisping's standing right there, and he's saying, Yair, and he never answered. So Michael Bisping, put his hand on Yair's shoulder and was like, "Hey, buddy, let's do an interview." And Yair turned around and, balled up a fist at him and called him,
a punta
or whatever. Yeah. Y'all know, everybody knows what that means from high school Spanish. Yeah. I mean, we didn't learn that, but everybody used to talk about that. So I thought that was completely disrespectful to do that to somebody like Michael Bisping, who obviously can't defend himself against you because he's in there doing his job. You know what I'm saying?
Physically, I think he could.
Yeah, he could, but Michael Bisping's a true professional. He's not, and
he's not going to fight you. But it's don't be disrespectful.
Don't be disrespectful to a UFC Hall of Famer like Bisping.
He is a Hall of Famer, and he's just trying to do an interview.
He's just trying to do his job,
and it's that's what your contract says.
Yeah,
is to do a post-fight interview. Don't be a little turd.
And that's not where the disrespectfulness from Rodriguez ends. So the next day at the Fighters Hotel, Yair Rodriguez and Jeremy Stevens ran into each other. The way Jeremy Stevens explained it and the video shows, there was a video posted of their interaction. Jeremy Stevens said Yair Rodriguez waved at him or whatever. So then Jeremy Stevens was like, "Well, I'm going to go talk to him, tell him we'll run it back." And then at first, Yair Rodriguez dapped him up and said, and Stevens was like, "We're gonna run it back." He kind of thought it was a respect thing. And then Yair Rodriguez was like, "You're gonna have to live with that the rest of your life." And he just started trashing Jeremy Stevens. He was like, "You're gonna have to live with that the rest of your life." He was like, "Why were you a coward?" And then Jeremy Stevens, he wasn't having none of that. He lives up to his nickname, Little Heathen, so he pushed him, man. He pushed Yair Rodriguez. They start going back and forth. Yair Rodriguez was cussing him again. But I just don't like that, man.
No,
and
I don't like that kind of sportsmanship.
And I was listening to Brandon Schaub's podcast, and Brandon Schaub said it best. He said Yair Rodriguez is disrespectful, and I hope Jeremy Stevens, puts him in his place. I hope Jeremy Stevens just knocks him out.
Yeah, I do too. I don't like that kind of sportsmanship.
I don't like that either, because eye poke. You got to take people's health seriously. And there wasn't any hate coming into the fight, and Yair Rodriguez just completely flipped the script and turned this into a completely disrespectful matter. Yeah. And I hope Jeremy Stevens makes easy work of him.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. Hope rooting for you, Stevens.
Yeah.
So Greg Hardy and Ben Sassoli.
I think you pronounced that right. I would have been pronounced that right. But this is
honestly, I don't remember who these people are.
Well, Sassoli, I don't know who he is. Yeah. But Greg Hardy, you remember he was a famous football player that had some good success.
Yeah. Greg Hardy was the controversial.
Yeah, that's why we're talking about him on here. He's not facing a big name, but he has received his second chance in life in UFC. For those of you who don't know, Greg Hardy was kicked out of the NFL because of domestic abuse against his wife or girlfriend. A lot of people still don't like him because of that, and I completely understand. I don't agree with anybody.
A lot of people don't like domestic abuse.
I don't agree with anybody that feels the need to hit women. Whatever you think, but people do deserve second chances, and his second chance has came in the UFC. He is now 3-0 or 4-0, and he has knocked out everybody they put in his way. His last fight was against, I think it was Juan Adams, and this was supposed to be his big test. Juan Adams had it all. He could wrestle, he could strike. He was supposed to put Greg Hardy away, put him in his place. He couldn't do it. Everybody keeps on talking they're going to put him in his place because of what he did in his past, and everybody hates him, but he's going out here knocking out everybody. Yeah. And, I mean, he's not – I wouldn't say he's very apologetic about it, and a lot of women in the UFC have said that they forgive him. And, I mean, whatever your thoughts on this are, we're just talking about him as a fighter and, his second chance at life within the UFC. He is making a very good impression. I think every single one of his fights he has got co-main event. This one he's not co-main, but the first 3 fights he was co-main event. Yeah. And it's because of his name, where he was in the NFL. A lot of people hate him. Controversy brings cash, as we have said before. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I mean, just from a fight standpoint, I want to see a good matchup. Mm-hmm. As far as the domestic abuse thing, it's ironic. You would fight your wife or girlfriend and then move into a fighting sport.
Yeah.
It doesn't help your name.
Well, that's what people see. I think it's funny because
it's like if he would have went into painting or something like that.
Well, because people will be like, "Oh, you
got practice on your wife.
Yeah, you sit here and hit women. How about you come in here and hit me? Or I'll hit you. You like to hit women." That's what people say to him. And I think he's going to win this fight. I think he's going to get another knockout. But I think I want to see him face a top 10 after this. And then
I would like to see him get knocked out. I think a lot of people would cheer for that.
You know who wants to fight him? Who? He's not there yet, but Derek Lewis has already called him out. Because Derek Lewis is real. And Derek Lewis was like, "You like to hit women, buddy?" He was like, "I'm going to come in there and hit you." And Derek Lewis will put him down, man.
Yeah. What about Ngannou? Like what about when...
No, he's not at Ngannou's level yet.
No, I'm saying, what if, Lewis and Ngannou start calling him out?
Lewis already called him out.
Yeah, Lewis already called him out.
Lewis wanted to accept a fight with him as soon as Greg Hardy got in the UFC, but Dana's not going to do that because
of the name's
Dana's doing it the right way with Greg Hardy. He's making him work his way up the ladder. So he's facing he's not just throwing him at that top 15 yet.
Yeah.
He's making him fight all these people at the bottom, and he keeps building his way up. So
yeah. Well, I would like to see him fight a real name.
Yeah.
And I
that's why I hope he wins. I hope he wins and he can fight a real name after this. I don't know how I feel about him yet. I mean,
as a fighter, I don't hate him. As a person, he's not my favorite.
Yeah, that's why I said I don't know how I feel about him yet, but he's obviously had some very good success as a fighter so far.
Yeah. And maybe when he fights bigger names, he'll kind of prove himself in the UFC.
Yeah.
So I just kind of want to play that card out.
Yeah, so, well, that's definitely going to be a good one to our listeners. Check that out on Saturday. That will be on ESPN2. If you have cable, it's already there. You ain't got to pay for the ESPN app or anything.
Yeah.
And that's definitely going to be a good one this upcoming weekend. But that's all we got for y'all today, guys. Thanks for listening. As always, we're on YouTube. We're on Spotify.
We're on Facebook.
Yeah.
So, if you want us on iHeartRadio, just let us know.
But we definitely got guests booked for the next 2 weeks, so we should have some good conversations with our guests in the next coming 2 weeks. But until then, just keep listening and let us know if you want to be a guest.
Yep. Thanks, you guys.